Tammy on an all-new Dr. Phil. She wants a career
I sing country pop.
and a post-nup.
I want a stake in Rob's landscaping business.
Have you run a successful business?
Yes, I have. We had to close it.
You closed a successful business?
What do her stepkids think?
They say this singing thing has cost my dad tons of money.
That's what you have your daughters believe.
I don't know where that come from.
Wow.
Well, it sure sounds like a post-nup will fix everything here. Let's do it.
Have a good show, everybody. Here we go.
This is a safe place to talk about hard things.
Stand by. We'll count you down.
I'll try to be an emotional compass and point you in the right direction.
5, 4.
I am not giving up on you. Stephanie and Rob have been married for 12 years, and they say their number one issue, which may be leading them to divorce, is, you guessed it, money. The one thing they can both agree on is that they are $50,000 in debt and have been on the verge of homelessness. That may sound radical, but I can tell you there are a lot of families in America one paycheck away from losing their house. Stephanie blames Rob, saying he is a foolish businessman, while Rob blames Stephanie for being a spendthrift. Both of them now want a postnuptial agreement, but they certainly disagree on the terms.
Our financial situation is a mess, and it's put our marriage in jeopardy. In a month, I spend $1,200 on groceries.
But you have to do it all at once?
We constantly fight about money and how to handle money. I really feel that Rob and I need to get a post-nuptial agreement.
At the moment, we're about $50,000 in debt.
It's gotten so bad, we were almost homeless due to our bad credit.
Stephanie and I are both responsible for all the debt that we have. Stephanie is very impulsive and almost downright reckless. One of her credit cards had a balance of almost $35,000.
I'm about living big and in abundance. I am a bit of a diva. I'm also a singer. I sing country pop. I recently made an album. I spent about $50,000 producing a 14-track album. My album just sits because I have not gotten around to promoting it yet.
She's been known to spend between $600 and $900 on hair extensions.
A lady loves her hair.
One time she spent almost $6,000 on a bed.
It was well worth it because it has a lifetime warranty.
I didn't sleep well that night.
Both my husband, Rob, and myself are responsible for being in debt.
I have my own commercial landscaping company. Stephanie doesn't think I know how to run my business properly.
Rob's company is hemorrhaging money. I do know how to run a business. I would just lean on him to be out in the field doing the actual work.
If Stephanie tries to get too involved with the business finances, it'll turn into a huge fight.
It is so frustrating for me to stand back and watch this happen. Our financial situation has caused a lot of stress in our marriage.
If we can't work out our finances, we may end up going our separate ways.
I feel like I need a postnuptial agreement.
Okay, so you want a postnuptial agreement.
Yes, I do.
Why?
Because I've sacrificed my own career, and I was very upfront when we first met because we were both divorced with 3 kids each. I had my own house. I was the single mother to my 3 kids, and I said, I want to leave Saskatchewan. There's no work here for me. And he purposely fell in love with me, and he wanted me to stay. And then like 2 months after we started dating, he took off to Revelstoke to pay his according to him, his ex-wife's debts. But they were his debts too. He likes to blame the woman, and I am tired of being portrayed as the big bad stepmother wife that I'm not.
You said you know how to run a business?
Yes, I do.
Have you run a successful business?
Yes, I have.
And what happened to it?
Well, basically, we had to close it, but it was not our fault. I had a profit within the first year. What happened was I was leasing a space, which is a hotel.
You closed a successful business?
I did, and the only reason I haven't reopened it is because I've been focusing on the kids. I've got 3 boys at home. I've got 2 with mental disabilities and an 8-year-old.
So you ran a dinner theater.
And my father was technically the owner, and I was the manager, and I performed, and I made $50,000 a year just performing. And then the company profited, like we broke even or profited. I have health problems because I hurt my back, my dad just protected me by saying, you know what, let's get the tax write-off and shut this thing down. It's not worth your time anymore.
So you lost the business?
Well, we closed it, but I could reopen it if I wanted to. I just don't want to. I think we've got too much on our plate. I think that his business has more potential because remember, I'm getting older and night shift does not work with raising kids. I can't get up at 6 a.m. and perform till 2 in the morning.
Listen, I'm very results-oriented. I grew up really poor, so I'm very results-oriented. It
Yes.
doesn't sound to me like you ran a successful business.
I'm not sure if she wants to run it. She wants to play a larger role in it. And
Yeah.
honestly, I don't have a problem with that. I don't want to see dissension in my business.
Yeah. And how's your business going?
I'm in a market where there's a lot of work and a lot of opportunity, so there's a lot out there to do.
Yeah.
I wasn't really a businessman. I just kind of started a landscaping business from nothing, and I've been blessed. It's been snowballing. So I think the only...
You like what you do?
I love it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Enjoy getting out and doing all the stuff?
Oh yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah.
And do you think it would work if she got involved in it?
Oh, to some point. She does, and she has helped me. Like she put up a Facebook page, and she's helped me with some advertising and stuff. This was all kind of sprung on me a few days ago, to be straight with you.
What was? The
This
prenup?
posting up and
She just
playing-
came and said she wanted one?
No, let's tell the truth. You were living in your camper, and I've been living off of my boys' income, and you haven't paid us since August. And you're minus $50,000 in debt when I co-signed your loan, and then suddenly you shut down our joint account, so I couldn't even buy milk for our son. And I was driving around with no license plates on the car because you didn't even give me any warning, and all the bills that I had coming out of our joint bank account, you shut down on purpose. So now I have my own account, my own money, and on the way here, Dr. Phil, I bought dinner because he has no money.
I think that's a little bit exaggerated.
And my dad lent him
I have-
$30,000 for a semi-truck, and he paid it all back right away when I said, Dad just wants payments. He just wants to see that you're willing to pay him back. You can take your time with it. He's an all-or-nothing farmer. It's like we're in a seasonal landscaping business in the middle of Saskatchewan where it snows, and last year he had no snow. So how are we supposed to make income 6 months of the year?
One thing about being self-employed, it seems like it's either feast or famine. At the end of this month, in another week, I'm going to have almost $70,000 coming in.
But you always talk gross amounts, but I've never seen your business profit.
Well,
So
then let's just
I
work
guess what I'm
together
getting at, Dr.
and show
Phil,
you.
is that in entertainment, entertainment's the first thing to go in a bad economy. You're a landscaper where it's not like BC or California where it grows all year
Well,
round.
it sure sounds like a post-nup will fix everything here. Seriously?
I don't
think
know.
all we
We
need is a
can't
little
see
bit of
our-
teamwork.
We
That's
can't
all.
see ourselves from the outside. Oh, I guess what I'm getting at is I want to know what my role is because he acts like he doesn't need my help, but then I've showed him how to go online banking. He never does it. I've showed him how to post pictures on Facebook. He won't do it. They asked us everything that people ask on the internet. He comes to me for, and I'll show him that I'm there for him and I'll help him. But then he'll totally deny that I do anything for him. So I'm going, I could put myself
I
into
give
my
you
own
credit.
career
I
again.
appreciate you, and I give you credit. Don't say that.
If you give me credit, then why did the producers tell me that your daughters think I'm the only detriment to your business when I bring you lunch? And I cook
Well,
your
we're going to
employees'
talk
lunch?
about family members after this because they certainly do have an opinion here. There are other family members who have a very different view of Stephanie's business acumen when we come back.
I'm even so business savvy, I wrote a little jingle for my husband's company.
And later,
I think all we need is a little bit of teamwork and financial management together.
You blame the woman. You never take accountability for your own actions.
what the hell does a post-nup have to do with all this? Stephanie and her husband, Rob, say they're currently $50,000 in debt, and they both want a postnuptial agreement but cannot agree on the terms. Rob wants 100% of his company if they were to divorce. But Stephanie says Rob would not have been able to start his business without her credit and creative ideas. Take a look.
What is this one?
Oh my goodness. If it wasn't for me, Rob's landscaping business wouldn't be as successful. Why aren't you taking progress payments in the very beginning?
This is out of a PO. That's right here's the PO.
I want a post-nup where I have a stake in his company, the company that I helped build.
She can have the house and she can have all the personal assets, but she can't touch the business.
Rob needs to give me credit for the hard work I've poured into the business. I did his business plan. I gave him good credit when he first married me when he had bad credit. I marketed it on Google Ads. I created a Facebook page. I gave him a website. I took the pictures. I uploaded them. I'm even so business savvy, I wrote a little jingle for my husband's company. When your lawn is dead in your neighborhood, who you gonna call? Sod Busters! I basically am his assistant and he gives me no credit.
Some of her ideas on influencing my business and the success of my business is just overinflated. I would not sign a postnuptial agreement giving my wife my company.
I absolutely want a part of Rob's business. In my eyes, his business is our business.
That you don't have the knowledge to make these decisions.
But I would hire...
We have to work something out because I'm not walking away without my company.
You don't want to let her have a percentage interest in your business.
In some ways, she's
Well,
wonderful. In hands-on ways, she has no knowledge of it.
You said, do I need to play that tape again? You said you want 100% of your business. You don't want her to have a percentage of it. You'll give her the house, everything else, but you don't want her to touch your business.
Well, when I said that, I was thinking of my guys that work for me. There's 7 or 8 guys working full-time, and I don't want to have them afraid that there's something skeptical going on and them quit. They're all key people that I need, and I just don't want to jeopardize their income or anything.
Well, here's what you told us. This is what Stephanie and Rob say they want in their post-up. Stephanie says 40% of the business, 40% of their personal assets, their home, child support, and spousal support. Rob says 100% of the business, 0% of personal assets, no mention of child or spousal support. So you just want your business and nothing else. You say she can have everything else. You just want the business. That's what you told us.
Sounds okay. Yeah.
That's a real marriage, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, you said it.
I mean, I want to look after her. She's my wife, and I want to share everything with her. I'm a little worried that she'll make decisions kind of radical with money or judgment calls that would jeopardize it.
Well, you described yourself as a diva and
Oh, okay.
living large.
I want to clarify something. I am not that big of a diva. For example, his ex-wife has her nails done all the time. I haven't had my nails done in over 2 years. I do my own feet. Since we have been broke, I have stayed home. I barely leave the house. I manage our finances. My dad has bought us a house, and we're paying the mortgage right now. But my father is the title because we lost our good credit consolidating. Now, nobody knows this, but I hurt my back. So my health concerns have caused me to only be able to work part-time.
Well, you said there are children involved here,
Yes.
grown children. I want to get some excerpts of statements from Rob's daughters. Daughter number 1, Stephanie is the financial issue. My dad's business is a success. He shouldn't be broke at home, but he is because she's spending $2,000 a month on pain meds alone. I think she's crazy. Her prescription drug abuse is affecting their finances and their relationship. This whole singing thing has cost my dad tons of money. In my opinion, she spent $40,000 on an album. It all went down the drain. A post-nup would be a great idea. Daughter number 2, Stephanie should have gone and gotten a job long ago. She'll get mad if my dad buys us stuff and not her own kids. She's not good with money. My dad spent $7,000 to send her to an audition for The Voice, and she did not make it on the show. Regarding the business, Stephanie doesn't know what she's doing. If she took half of his business, he would have nothing. He needs to protect that. I would love for them to sign a post-nup and divorce.
Wow. And that's what you have your daughters believe.
No.
Wow.
Well, he didn't say that. They said that.
That's the problem. Their mother manipulates and lies. I have not actually spoken. They've never looked at our financial statements. They have no proof of that. You did not pay for my voice. That was on my credit card.
No, I don't.
And we did not pay $7,000. It was $500 for a flight there and back and $100 for the room. Where are you getting these figures from?
Well, I don't
My
know where that
biggest
comes
issue
from.
with you is you don't even go online and look at our bank statements. Like, I'm going to tell you right now, what's our SAS power bill right now, Rob?
Yeah, I know.
What's our Sask Energy bill right now, Rob? What's your account number right now, Rob? You
I know
have
what
no
that is.
clue.
Look, honey, I've been telling you 10 minutes every Sunday night. Let's sit down, go over last week, plan for the next week, and you are scared to do
No,
that.
I'm not scared to do that. You get home at 9 p.m. when I'm putting an 8-year-old to bed, and you leave at 6 in the morning. I'm exhausted.
Oh, I don't-
Come home
it's
at
not
6.
that.
I will gladly show you everything. At one point, I had 6 children to raise at the same time, trying to run my theater while he was gone 14 hours a day. If you're gone 14 hours a day, bring home the bacon, because I'm at home running the house.
And later, what career? What is your career?
I sing. I can easily,
You have an album?
I was successful on CMT. I made money. I've toured the world.
Well, here's a statement from Rob's son. Stephanie loves to interject with my dad's business. She feels she can give advice because she ran a dinner theater a few years back, but it folded and she lost all of her employees. It was a failure. The Posting Up is a great idea. My dad has worked so hard. She hasn't contributed anything to that business.
Wow. Can I just say, Dr. Phil, his whole family came out to my show for free, and I bought them all their drinks. We could not let him bartend because he'd say he'd have 3 drinks. I made my staff sign for any kind of cost, right? It was like, if you take a beer, you pay cost. It's $2 a beer. He, as my husband, from going behind the bar because he would drink things for free. We were managing our cost control. The problem, I'll tell you what the problem with my business was. I was caught up. His ex would kick his daughter out to me. At one point, I had 6 children to raise in my house at the same time, trying to run my theater while he was gone 14 hours a day. How could anybody succeed? My opinion is, if you're gone 14 hours a day, bring home the bacon, because I'm at home running the house.
I do. Yeah, you're right.
Right?
Absolutely right.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I didn't get that chance. I had to be at work, ask any of my employees. And by the way, Dusty was one of your best employees, and he was mine. I brought him to you. And he gives cash advances all the time. I never did that.
So what the hell does a Posting Up have to do with all this?
Nothing. We have issues because I just feel like I opened up my home. When he came to me, he had nothing. He blamed his ex-wife for cleaning him out. Yet his kids will defend her, but they blame me for everything, because that's what you do. You blame the woman. You never take accountability for your own actions.
I'm clearly saying it's 50% me right here, right now. I think all we need is a little bit of teamwork and financial management together.
Now you're saying
this was
that.
blown up out of proportion 3 days ago. And I do have money to pay us as well, honey.
Really? Then how come you haven't paid us since August? And how come we're living on my son's income right now?
No, I must have paid us more recently.
No, you haven't paid us since August, my dear.
well, I have
and
money
I
and
sold a
I'll fix
bunch of
that.
stuff just so we had grocery
When you
money.
say paid us, who's us?
Well, our accountant said, like, I get paid $700 it's supposed to be biweekly, but he only pays me when he feels like it, and he pays himself a salary, but it's not enough for our household bills to be paid. So basically, I had to do a garage sale, and I sold a bunch of stuff just so we could afford to move. And I packed up our whole house and moved us to a 2-bedroom condo. He wanted to upsize to a huge 5-acre parcel for $1 million, and I'm getting blamed for our debt, but I downsized to a 2-bedroom condo.
That was 3 years ago, and we did get mortgage approval for that. And you had the garage sale because we had too much junk.
No, I had the oh my goodness.
Way too much stuff. Too
Rob.
much stuff that we bought.
No, Rob. I sold stuff so that we had money in the bank.
I didn't see much come out
And
of
the
that.
point is he has no idea what goes on because he doesn't spend any time at home managing anything.
What does a Posting Up have to do with this?
I don't know.
I mean, you're both saying you would need $50,000 to be broke, right?
Good, yeah.
So you want equal share in each other's bankruptcy? What?
No. Sorry, what I'm trying to say is he wants me to help him, And he'll come home and he'll say, oh, honey, I just want you to help me with my business. But then the next day it's like, I'm like, should I go out and get a job? And what his daughters don't know, I waitressed all summer. I worked at the summer ice cream parlor. Do they know that I work for minimum wage just so we can eat? No, they don't.
Oh, no,
you don't tell them.
Just wanted to get out of the house.
No, I wanted the money.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness, I am a hard worker.
I appreciate that.
Tell your daughters right now, am I a hard worker?
You do work hard, yes.
Thank you. So the point is why do you let them believe that I just sit around spending money?
Well, who said I
You've
even
never
told them
bought
that? Who said, like,
groceries.
how? I never told them that. I don't hardly see them and communicate with them. I'm
Your
working all the
ex-wife
time.
is feeding their head with crap. That's
well, don't
exactly what happened.
blame me, honey.
What are you jumping his ass for?
Sorry. Because he doesn't defend me.
Well, how do you know?
I
If I don't know there's a war going on, I can't shoot back.
No, you're just too passive. You're too passive to stand up for what's right.
I'm
And
Norwegian.
then, like, he acts like I suck him back. I'm the one who puts my foot down and says, Rob, you know what? We got to straighten things out. Otherwise, I could be focusing on my own life. I'm a go-getter. If I want something, I'll go after it. The only reason I haven't promoted my album is my kids have meant the world to me. And I've got 2 boys that I've got to run to doctor's appointments, to employment appointments. I'm being a mother because I don't have the teamwork of a father. Poor Dr. Phil. You haven't met us yet, have you?
I'm telling you, we should just get together and have a little teamwork. That's all we need.
I think where the confusion is, Dr. Phil, is that it's okay. We never argue about how we raised Robbie, but it's his kids and him against my kids and me, and I want the family to unite as one. You always say, I'm going to stay home and wait for snow.
Stay home and wait for snow. You're not penguins. You have to have a plan.
Thank you.
Closed captioning provided by There's something I believe real strongly about solving problems. And people think you solve problems a certain way. Now think about that. You don't solve money problems with money. You have money problems. I guarantee you, if somebody came and handed you $100,000 right now, that would not solve your money problems. That would be a patch on your money problems. But what you're doing, the lack of teamwork, the lack of having a plan, the lack of doing something that has a chance of succeeding, you've got to have a philosophy. You've got to have a plan. You know, family member goes to another family member, says, oh, we're broke. Can we borrow $10,000? If they don't have the money to pay their electric bill, how are they going to pay you back $10,000? You don't solve money problems with money. Mm-hmm. You've got to figure out that money is math. You don't spend money based on what you need. You spend money based on what you have. You say, well, we need this. We have to have a roof. We have to have... No, you spend money based on what you have, not what you want, not what you need. Mm-hmm. And you guys are fighting about money you don't have. You're wanting to put together a post-up agreement to divide up something that doesn't exist.
Yeah, I think we were more, I want to get on the same page, but I'll be honest, I don't want your business. I want to know that what I wanted was a compromise. I wanted him to support my career during the winter so he could see that I'm capable of earning money. Well, the only reason I haven't pursued things is because honestly...
What career? What is your career?
Oh, I sing. I can easily...
You have an album?
Yes. And I honestly have not started promoting it because I've been so concentrated on his business and the family that I just went, you know what?
Do you know how to promote an album?
Yes, I do. I've promoted 5 albums. This is my last album. I was successful on CMT. I made money. I've toured the world. I made when he came to me, I won show tours with the military. I had $20,000 in the bank and 20,000 of RSPs and my own house, and he had nothing.
No, I agree, honey. It's just you're in a market here that's challenged. My market is good. So we should
But he
capitalize down
expects me
on
to
that
stay in
quick and get a little
Saskatchewan
teamwork
where
going
there's
on,
no
get a
entertainment
handle on
work.
life. That's all.
So yes, it's complicated.
No, it's not.
No, it's not. It's
don't-
great. It's just a little teamwork. I
Okay,
think.
a little teamwork would be great. It's just that you always say, no, I'm going to stay home and wait for snow. And I'm going, do you know, if you just capitalized on, like, I think he's a great salesman. I think that he could sell.
Stay home and wait for snow. You're not penguins. You have to have a plan.
Oh,
We're going to talk to an expert here. Next, Anne-Margaret Carrozza discusses what a post-nup really means, and we're going to talk to her in just a minute. We'll be right back. Closed captioning provided by... All right, joining me is estate management attorney Anne-Margaret Carrozza. Now, one of the focuses in her practice is estate management, which includes post and prenuptial agreements. So I got a lot of questions for you. Now, first off, is a postnuptial agreement a reasonable thing to do?
Absolutely. I encourage everyone to at least think about it.
Why?
A postnuptial agreement can be used to deal with problems within a relationship. Yes, we deal with exit rules, who gets what in the event of a divorce, but the postnuptial agreement provides a framework where a couple can collaborate in a positive method to deal with problems.
Well, now, okay, talk about this from a legal standpoint, and I'm going to talk about it from a psychological standpoint, relationship standpoint. Couple's going along, everything's fine, and husband or wife comes home one day and says, by the way, I would like to talk about how we're going to divide things up in the event we get a divorce. Their partner's going to say, what the hell? What are you talking about? That's not going to go over well over dinner.
Absolutely not. It should never come up in a negative fashion.
Well, how do you bring that up in a positive fashion?
Well, often we can blame it on the attorney. So within the context of doing normal estate planning, when I have a husband and wife doing a will, I bring up the 800-pound gorilla in the room. What happens upon the death of one of you and the other one remarries and maybe all of the assets are lost to the new spouse? So I bring it up, would you consider a postnuptial agreement whereby you each agree in the event of a future remarriage to enter into a prenuptial agreement to protect assets?
Yeah, getting that by my wife would be like trying to smuggle sunrise by a rooster.
Not happening.
Yeah, no.
Okay, we can
No.
also do it in the context of New Year's resolutions. So a New Year's resolution, that's where we put something in writing. Putting something in writing reduces faulty recollections and faulty expectations. So in my New Year's resolutions, I make promises to myself. I also want to make promises to my partner in the context of a postnuptial agreement. I recognize X, Y, and Z bothers you. I proactively and affirmatively agree not to park the car in a place where it's going to annoy you or do any of the number of things that annoy my husband. But if it's coming from me proactively, I think it inspires him to say, okay, well, I'm not going to do A, B, and C because I know that bothers you. At its essence, a postnuptial agreement is an exchange of written promises.
Okay, so I won't park my car and block you in, so you have to come get me every morning to move my car so you can get out, and you don't get any of the house if we divorce, and...
Slip it in.
Yeah. How many of you would have a problem if your spouse came to you and said, I want a postnuptial agreement? Raise your hand. Okay. That's most everybody.
Because I think the common thought is we're scripting exit rules, and that's very unromantic. But the exit rules already exist. They're written by your state legislators. So we are so prepared to customize every other aspect of our lives, but when it comes to the 45% chance of getting divorced, We say, oh, we'll just wing it and let the courts do it. The party with fewer assets should be the party that wants some level of protections.
What about prenuptial agreements? Do you think they're a good idea?
I think it depends on the couple. I think a conversation, at the very least, a conversation should be had. One party has more assets, one party has fewer assets. So we need to make sure that in the 45% chance that the marriage doesn't work out, that neither one of them are struggling financially on the back end. And it can cover a wide variety of issues. I've drafted a celebrity substance abuse clause where if celebrity X is caught using again, there's a huge financial penalty. So the prenuptial agreement can have a list of deal breakers, infidelity, substance abuse.
Well, that's a ticket to the courthouse, though, right? I mean, because then it's like, okay, you got to prove that, and that didn't happen, that was entrapment, that was this, that was it. That's a ticket to...
Well, I think it's less time in the courthouse because you have dealt with the exit rules in advance. Now, 50 states, New York was the last state to enact no-fault divorce, where we don't have to allege wrongdoing. I'm simply putting the other party on notice. These actions will likely make me head for the door, so there are no surprises later.
Okay, if somebody wants to get a prenuptial agreement, is this an expensive thing for them to do if they go to a lawyer?
There are some legal fees involved, and typically it's going to be done hourly. You do need 2 separate attorneys, otherwise the prenup can be totally invalidated.
Okay, but are we talking about $1,500 or $15,000?
$1,500.
Okay, so it's not some massive sort of thing. And is there a level at which somebody should think about this? I mean, if somebody's net worth is $10,000, don't worry about this. If it's $100,000, worry about it. If it's $1 million, worry about it. At what point does this become relevant?
Well, if someone's net worth is $10,000, I would argue that they're very concerned about losing $1 of it. So I think no matter where you are financially, the prenup can be used to bolster your financial security.
Yeah. And even if you have a prenup agreement, and then after you've got that in place for where you are at the time, and then after you get married, one or the other strikes it rich, the prenup doesn't affect that, correct?
So one of the many uses of the postnuptial agreement is to renegotiate a prenuptial agreement. So if the prenup is faulty because it was done by one attorney or it was done 5 weeks before a wedding, that's a faulty prenup. If you go through with the wedding, you can renegotiate it via a postnup on the other side.
Okay, because it was under duress.
Exactly, undue influence, duress.
Coming up, the holidays are just around the corner, and that means one thing: shopping. But listen up, it's a time you could fall victim to frauds and scams. Find out the best ways you can outsmart scammers this holiday season. Next.
Still to come, don't get scammed this holiday season.
Well, it is the busiest shopping time of the year, and scam artists are busy too.
That could be potentially dangerous for in-store and online shoppers if you're not careful.
Closed captioning provided by... During the holidays, while most of us focus on family and friends, criminals are zeroing in on our wallets and bank accounts. And let me tell you, technology has, of course, made life easier for most of us, but it has also made it easier for thieves trying to steal our identity and our cash. Take a look at this.
Well, it is the busiest shopping time of the year, and scam artists are busy too.
That could be potentially dangerous for in-store and online shoppers if you're not careful.
This woman right here was on her Facebook page. She got a message that actually looked pretty legitimate.
This is the whole conversation she sent me.
Randy Buckles is talking about the scammer who had good news. Buckles won 2 appliances and $50,000.
50 grand sounded nice.
But Facebook itself never offers prizes. So right away, you know that's a scam.
Holiday shopping with gift cards may not be as safe as you think.
They say this is one of the best barbecues on earth.
Daniel Alui Googled the grill and decided to buy it on Avidars.com and purchased an e-gift card. But after Alui sent his to Avidars, he never heard back.
I wrote maybe 15, 20 emails.
And soon, Avidars' website disappeared.
There's people out there trying to make an easy buck. You have to be careful.
Well, to help us avoid becoming victims to con artists and thieves, please welcome AARP fraud expert Doug Shadell. Thank you so much for being here.
My pleasure.
A 2015 survey from AARP Fraud Watch Network found that 70% of consumers failed a quiz about how to stay safe from common holiday scams. If you guys don't go to the AARP site, these guys do the most interesting research I have ever seen. So, Doug, why are so many people at risk of becoming victims?
Well, you know, we get our information from the cons themselves often. And when you ask them, what's the best time of year to rip people off, they all say the holidays. There's at least three reasons. One is people are distracted, and cons love distracting you, but you're already distracted because of the holidays. Right. Another is we're emotional. That when you're in a heightened emotional state, you make worse financial decisions. The third reason, you alluded to it, is technology. People are not aware of all the ways in which technology can create imposters, and you just can't tell who you're talking to.
One huge issue everyone should be aware of is using Wi-Fi in public places. So we go to the mall, what happens?
So it's really convenient to go into a shopping mall or to a coffee shop and log on. The problem is there are bad guys who could intercept that signal if you're not careful.
So you should not go in a mall, get on a public Wi-Fi, and then use your smartphone or whatever to pay for something.
Now, with a smartphone, there are more protections built in. We were talking about the example of, say, a laptop. When you're in a laptop, you're typing, and then you decide to go online, and then you decide to buy something. Okay. There's a potential danger there.
AARP's top 6 tips to avoid being a holiday scam victim. Number 1 is surf safely. What does that mean?
That basically means that you should surf when you're at home, go to websites where you have a relationship already, and they're secure.
Then their second point is check the charity.
So before you give to a charity, make sure they're registered and ask them how much of the money I'm giving you goes to the charity and how much goes to the fundraising cost.
Don't leave stuff in your car.
We've interviewed identity thieves who will sit in the parking lot, and you come out with a bunch of shopping bags, then you put them in the trunk, and then you go back in and do more shopping. Then they go pop the trunk and they steal them. So do the best you can to not leave things in the car.
Okay, sign off. What do you mean?
This is the other thing that the identity thieves tell us is they'll follow the delivery trucks and wait for you to drop off packages at your doorstep, and then they'll go and take them. So make sure you get a signature required. They won't leave the package at your door without a signature.
Okay, use credit.
Anything bad happens to your credit card, you're protected by federal law for all but $50 if you report it within 60 days, as opposed to a debit card, which is tied to your checking account.
So monitor your accounts.
Monitoring your accounts. I have become an evangelist, Dr. Phil, for online banking. I monitor my bank account every day by having an online access to it. And we've interviewed identity thieves who've taken over people's identity and then gone in and created their own password to the person's checking account.
As Doug explained, it is important that you are particularly vigilant while holiday shopping, especially if your credit card is like this one with a little chip. Now, Doug, why is this chip a problem for shoppers?
There are clever thieves who can intercept, it's called a radio frequency identifier device, the radio frequency that is emitted to communicate with the merchant. And believe it or not, it's possible to intercept that chip.
How do you protect against that?
Well, by getting one of these devices that will block that radio signal.
RFID cases like this one actually protect your information by blocking your cards from being read.
Right.
And to get you started, AARP is giving everybody in the audience an RFID case to put your credit cards. So you can put those in here, and then you snap them shut. Now when they come up and try to scan and read, it doesn't read through here, right?
Exactly, right.
All right, for more information on protecting yourself from fraud and scams, check out aarp.org/fraudwatchnetwork. Let's not get ripped off this season. Thank you for being here.
My pleasure.
And thanks to AARP for doing all of this research. I want to thank all of my guests today. A very special thanks to estate management attorney Ann Margaret Carrozza. We'll see you next time.